We were looking for a whole year to find a space to present the filter coffees a little bit better, and also obviously to find space to roast. I wanted to create something really open and accessible, but obviously it's a bit dangerous, so we have a restriction on we can't have like children playing. It would be too dangerous, you know, when they run into the roast area or the kitchen and stuff. So also, another aspect was we wanted to, you know how James Hoffmann talks about presenting specialty coffee better, that we are very close friends with Square Mile and Tim Wendelboe, Coffee Collective and those people. And I think it was time for specialty coffee shops to not only focus on the ingredients and quality of the product, but also on service and on how we present ourselves. So we wanted to make this very reduced and minimalistic and slick, so when people come in they know that we actually care and focus on the product and not on cozy chairs and music, you know, and laptop area and things like that. There are a lot of ideas that came into this place. No music and laptop, for example, is very close to my heart also. I like the sound of work, but also if people listen to conversations of the barista, they learn a little bit about coffee. So the long brew bar that we have is 6 meters. And the idea was that people just hang out at the brew bar and talk about coffee, and we brew something for another customer, they join and they meet. So we really wanted to go back to like an old coffee house almost in the 50s or 60s where people would meet, you know, to meet other people or sit down and read a paper and things like that. So it's, I think, a lot of things along my 2.5 years with the barn was the first of all, they're all wearing the same shirt here because I don't like to go into places and you don't know who's working there. So for me, not a uniform, but something to recognize that people are actually working there and can be addressed is very important. Then I'm obsessed with detail and hygiene. I think we want to operate like bartenders in a high quality cocktail bar, for example. We really want like clean dishes and clean work area, and I just think that when things are clean, you're also addressing the senses aesthetically. So that's very important, that when people come in, they know we care. What James Hoffmann said at the SCAA in New York, in Portland in April this year, was he compared this burger theory. When you go to McDonald's or Burger King, you only want to pay like 99 cents or something for a cheeseburger. But if you go to another place, you buy like $15 for that. And then why are people willing to pay more when they enter a different establishment? It's like they know it's higher quality, they know that people care. Yeah. And so that is why we wanted to signal also to that actually when someone comes in and they don't know us, that they see that actually this should be like a product of higher value. So we don't have much debate about pricing. In general, I think we're still far too cheap for what we are offering, but we also think in Germany in particular we have a lot of work to do because we went through decades of very bad coffee here. That is partly to do with the industrial coffee and a very strong kind of like filter coffee consumer behavior, and secondly the Germans, if I may say so, generally don't spend so much for food when they go shopping for food, so they're very price conscious. I think this is kind of changing, but still, you know, you have a lot of people going to grocery stores and they rather buy like 8 yogurts for 29 cents than 4 for 89 cents, and actually we really want to follow the slow food movement. We sometimes call it slow coffee, for people to understand that the contact to the farm and also to trade directly or with one middleman that you know, rather than many merchants that are stuck in between the value chain. We really want the money to go to the farm and to make the product better. We are not such big fans of fair trade in coffee. I think generally as a system fair trade is a good thing, but in coffee only a few cents per kilo are going to the farm actually, while there's in direct trade everything goes to the farm. Also the farm farmer gets an identity in the product, they learn something, they're getting better. And we're happy to pay a much higher price for a higher value product. So our main roaster is Square Mile Coffee Roasters in London, James Hoffman, and then at Malta. Yeah, for us we started with Square Mile, and we're still working with Square Mile. Our filter bar is open for guest filters, and Square Mile will always have a spot on our filter bar, and we will sell their beans here in retail for Square Mile fans that live in London. Also we have Tim Wendelboe, the Solbach and Hanse, Poppy Coffee, Damateo, and Drop Coffee from Sweden and things like that. We try wherever we find something interesting. The baristas are coming up with ideas, and then every week we decide what we want to have on the brew bar. We opened this year in middle of September, but the main focus was to get the front bar up and running first. We hired a lot of people, and Berlin is not doesn't have a strong base for baristas, obviously, in places like Melbourne. So we decided to train people up that had a strong interest. For example, Rob, who's on the machine, comes from a milk farm in Australia, and his taste is super sensitive, and the way he talked about what he wants to learn and things like that, we were like very keen to hire him. And so he moved to the brew bar first, brewing filters, and now he's trained on the espresso machine, and he's a key barista now at the shop. But the roasting we slowly ramped up in parallel. Square Mile came over a few times from London to train us, going through roast sessions and trying to find out how the machine works. Every machine works differently. This is a 1955 robot, completely refurbished robot.
It's brand new.
So it has all the elements of good cooking, like a cast iron frying pan compared to like a modern one. But it's the latest technology. We decided to have a larger cooling tray, direct engines, a larger cycling and ventilation system, so that we can control every step of the roasting process. And we also had this new filtration system from Probat with natural cold stones to take out some of the dirt and brewing ceremony before we open in both shops. We brew all the coffees that we have on the day on brew bar, and everybody that works, including the kitchen person or the person who is producing the cakes, they have to come out and cup with us and give us like we want them to build a palate. So whenever they come out and serve a person and it's really busy, they need to be able to describe coffees. So I think to make this as a workplace more attractive to people, you need to offer learning curves and involve everybody around the key product. So it's a big training task. It's very time intense, but I think it kind of works for us. I mean, it has been working really well. If someone is twisting our arm, we put some milk into tea, for example, but we will never put it in a filter coffee, and some people don't like it. But we've done it in the beginning. We had a lot of American tourists, and they know filter coffee with milk and they like it that way. But our coffees are so light in roast and so intense or delicate in flavor profiles. Sometimes if you would add milk into a Kenyan coffee, it tastes sour. We had a lot of people returning coffees saying like, oh, it doesn't taste good. And we said, yeah, well, you punched it with milk and now you throw it back into my face. And then we decided, look, no, it's not a product that works with milk. If you want, when people come in, we ask them, do you want coffee? Yes. Do you want it with milk or black? And they say with milk, and we go straight to the espresso. If they drink it black, we go straight to filter coffee. We started this with no sugar because we think, first of all, we have amazing milk, and so this milk is naturally sweeter, we found. Also we don't burn it to death. We never go past 60 degrees when we steam milk, and we think like it caramelizes a little bit more. Rather than burnt milk that has less of flavor intensity. So we believe that this milk doesn't need any sugar. So in this shop we said like we have no sugar at all, and it was quite radical. I had a lot of friends that said like, look, I like your products, it's really nice, but I'm not coming back because I need sugar. Yeah, I'm addicted. And so we started putting sugar out, but we were hiding it a little bit in the corner here. And so people are looking and asking for it, and then we say, why don't you try without first? And then if they still don't like it, then they can put the sugar in. I'm a big fan of specialization. I think, for example, we don't have soy milk. We think if people have an allergy, they should not put anything into the coffee. And the soy milk has a very intense taste. We keep looking and looking and looking, but still we find that we can't really find good soya milk that is very kind of like neutral in taste, so the coffee can shine. But if someone would say like, look, I'm doing a soya milk coffee shop next door, and then another person would say, look, I'm having the best sugars in the world, then suddenly the marketplace is a lot more interesting, because for us as a consumer, you'd say like, oh, today I'm going to the soya milk guy, or tomorrow I'm going to the sugar lady, and things like that. I think like offering everything to please all tastes, for me, is a bit boring and leads to a very bland and boring marketplace. I would much rather walk around and find something really exciting. I always bring the story from Omar Gerkens, which was like the baker in my home village, actually near Holland, at the Lower Rhine area. And whenever she had fresh brötchen, fresh rolls, people were queuing out the door, like really, really nice rolls, not that sand air thingies you get for 8 cents now in these chains, but like proper bread. And she died. We got a doner kebab shop instead, and no one is queuing anymore. I'm just like, everything is like the same, and it doesn't attract people. I think the only way to bring quality back into cities and not to have like huge chains like occupying spaces everywhere is to specialize and then just take a risk and reduce your menu and focus on a few things and make them really, really good. And then maybe you have a little bit less business in the beginning, but over time a lot of people come because they know you and they know, oh, this is the guy where I get the carrot cake, or this is the guy where I get the filter coffee really, really nice. So today I really want to drink a filter coffee. I think it makes you clearer and more defined. I put this on number 4, the AeroPress. We do it inverted now, and we go on a medium grind, 94 to 96 degrees. Really, really nice with the pre-infusion. Gives it a little extra kick. We're pre-weighing those. Okay. So we're doing 15 grams and 230 mils of water. That's 65 to 70% brew ratio. Really nice. It brings out the fruit a little bit. I'm a big fan of using these, even though they look plastic. It prevents spilling very easily. That's why it was invented, and it makes sense. So, now I'm getting water. So, check in temperature quickly. And I give a 20-second pre-infusion. God, I feel like a TV program. Make it all nice and wet. 40 to 50 degrees milliliters of water, and now I let it rehydrate for 20 seconds, so it gets back to its original specific weight, maybe, we think. And now 1 minute, I flip it, I press it in 25 seconds, so I have a brew time of 125. It was invented for camping. They sent another bag of coffee for me to Greece. So I survived the summer. So you see this has different color, really nice. Because some of the coffee actually passes through, not through the filter, but through the sides. So that gives it a very creamy taste. It was roasted by Square Monica 7 in London. Very, very dedicated people, amazing. And this is a pea berry from Kenya. I find it has, of course every palate is different. For you, raspberry is a strawberry for me. But I find this one has elements of stone fruits. It's very sweet, also when it cools, a bit like coffee cream with berry jam. And when it cools, it tastes like a tomato soup.